Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. This video is very special, and I'm really excited to make this video because it's going to be so relieving, so refreshing, and I'm just really excited to get this out and off my chest because I've been holding these feelings in and harboring these feelings in for nearly 2 years, and we're so far removed from what I'm going to talk about that I feel as though I feel confident and comfortable to talk about it and share it with you all. You know, the whole thing about being a YouTuber is making a connection with your audience. And bro, we are about to get connected because this video is very personal, man. But I promise you, this is not a sympathy video. This is not a woe is me video. I'm really just trying to share my experiences with you all and let you know that things are so good. And if anybody can learn anything from me, what I have to say, my goodness, that is so worth it to me. This story takes place in about the summer of 2022. So give or take 2 years ago to the time of this video being filmed and ultimately uploaded onto the channel. Long story short, out of nowhere, I started to feel this empty feeling of not really enjoying life, truthfully and quite frankly. At the time, I think this channel had like 60-some thousand subscribers and things were doing great. I had been full-time for YouTube for maybe a year, give or take, maybe just under a year, but I was pushing, I was going for it. I was doing my thing and things were doing just fine. I don't know, man. Something was just missing in my life and I just couldn't really pinpoint what it was. And as the summer continued to go on in 2022 into the fall, the feelings started to take a snowball effect and really started to eat at me. And I'll just be completely blunt with you guys. This feeling I learned through therapy was I was incredibly depressed. And that's really what it was, man. I just was not happy. And there's one thing that I will tell you guys, like one thing I did and one thing I learned and one change I made, a very public change. And it was such a breath of fresh air and I'm so glad I did it, but we'll get to that. Going into the fall, September, October of 2022, I was in bad shape. For those of you guys who were watching my videos, you guys just saw how much weight I lost. I just stopped eating. I just was not like interested in doing anything and experiencing life all that much. I just really was kind of in a rough spot, man, and just was not interested in much. Honestly, the only thing I really did enjoy still to that day was creating videos and writing riffs. So it's good to know that I didn't really lose myself in that regard. But yeah, man, I remember I would just eat like a packet of oatmeal, a protein shake, and a banana for breakfast. And that's all I would eat every single day. So I was getting down to the point of like 135 pounds. And I'm currently sitting at like 175 right now. So I was pretty skinny, man. And, you know, I've been pondering this video and I don't know if I should go into too much detail about anything, but I just really was struggling to get out of bed and I just was really thinking about just giving up. And I don't mean giving up on YouTube or being a musician, right? So I'll just leave it at that, man. It was pretty gnarly, okay? So from there, I had to get help. I went and sought out a therapist, started to go through a bunch of different things of like what was wrong with me, try to figure it out. And I found out some things along the way about myself that I already knew, but it just felt good to like, you know, confirm and reaffirm with a professional. And then ultimately in October into November, I made a decision and it was very public, like I said before. And what was public was I changed my YouTube channel name to my government official name. So my channel was named a different thing before December of 2022. And then now it is exactly what it is and what it forever will be. That is my full government name, Xander Raymond Charles, the mighty XRC. That's me. And I can remember so many people saying like, oh, dude, your name is Xander. Why didn't you just make that your channel name? And the reason is I wasn't born with that name. I gave myself that name. And I gave myself that name legally in 2022. Without going into too much detail, somebody that wasn't really the best to me had the same name as me growing up and through my early adulthood, to where anytime I thought of my own name, it gave like a poor taste in my mouth and I really wasn't proud of it and I really didn't like it. So my whole identity and who I was, I just really wasn't that fond of. It's pretty gnarly. It's pretty heavy to think about. So I'm an adult. I'm a US citizen. I'm a resident of this beautiful country. And I was just like, dude, I'm just going to just fucking give myself a cool name. I'm just going to give myself a new name, a name that's mine, a name that I'm proud of, and a name that I can just display for the world to see And I did it. And also too, like if I was going to give myself a new name, dude, like let's go for it. Like I was like, all right, what are the coolest letters? X and Z. And yeah, I fucking went with Xander with an X. And that is so fucking cool, man. It's the coolest name I've ever heard in my goddamn life. I love it so much. And I'm so proud of myself for sticking up for myself and my younger self. I'm so proud of myself in adulthood. I went for it and I changed, like quite literally, my name, my whole identity in a sense. To where now, about 2 years removed from that whole situation, not only has life really turned around for me, it was never really bad, but it really just has turned in a positive direction. But also too, I have the most amount of just like self-love for myself and self-respect and just joy for who I am and who I will always be from now until the day that I die. It's such a fascinating thing, and it's like something that at first and for a while I like shied away from, because it's like, dude, that's your fucking name, bro. Like that's a big deal. That's something that like not many people do in the grand scheme of things. And like, you know, that story's kind of vulnerable and kind of left to center, but dude, my whole life is kind of left to center. And at this point, I don't give a shit, man. Like, if it makes me vulnerable, I don't care anymore. I really don't care anymore. I love who I am, and I'm so proud of who I am. And a little bit about myself, Raymond, Charles were two names that my mother gave me. But Charles wasn't my last name. So I made Charles my last name because that was my grandfather's name who passed away, my cousin's name who passed away, and my uncle's name who passed away, all on my mom's side. So it was like a perfect way to show tribute to those three gentlemen, and they were always really good to me. And then I put on Xander in the front because that's like a fucking cool ass name, dude. But anyway, everybody, so for those of you who have been around here since the beginning and then saw the change and maybe were a little bit confused, that's why, dude. That's what happened. That's my life story. Like I said in the beginning of this video, this is not a pity story. This is not a feel bad for me story, but it is my story. And I'm at a point in my life here in adulthood where it's like, I'm going to own that shit. That's my story. And I don't care about any sort of vulnerability or any sort of like weird feelings about my story, because it is exactly that, my story. And you know what? It makes a pretty damn good story, I will say. Another reason why I want to change my name is because of this, dude. It's my 100K plaque and it's got my name on it. The name I love, the name I'm proud of. Super sick, right? So everybody, I guess to wrap up this video, if you guys can take anything from me, it's just keep going. Don't give up. Fight for whatever it is you're trying to get out of life. Enjoy life as best you can. And if there's something you need to change or something you want to strive for, just go for it, dude, and just do it. Because life is very finite. It's very small, but we can all enjoy it. And I made a major life change, but I'm so happy about it. I love it so much, okay? So if you could take anything from me, just keep fighting, just keep trying, okay? So with that being said, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I'm not even gonna ask anybody to like or subscribe because this video is way too personal and way too important and vulnerable for any sort of like YouTube stuff. So I will say this, just thank you so much for listening. How about that? I really sincerely appreciate you. All right, everybody, I've got the regularly scheduled content coming up very, very soon. I just wanted to get this out to the world. It feels so good to tell my story, and it is exactly that, my story, and I own it. All right, everybody, love you so much, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Later.